shine with me, align with me, authentically true. Bloom into you.
All right. Hello, everybody. Jamie Wozni here, modern day priestess and seer of the divine. And if you guys haven't been to my channel yet, welcome. I'm really excited to introduce you to a friend, a colleague, an amazing human being, Kaila O'Connor. Kaila, I'll let you say hi real quick and just give your brief intro of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I love your abundance with ease background. I didn't even notice it until now. It's like she's got like gold sparkles around her.
Yeah, I'll share the
I,
importance of that.
I love that. No, I'm Kaila O'Connor. Oh gosh, human design explorer and studier and guide and experimenter on self first, but also a PR professional, a wife, all the things. But I live in both worlds of human design and the PR industry, and so I think that's the two areas that I live in the most.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I like you sharing that distinction too. I'm more, if you guys are new to me too, and you're in Kayla's world watching this, I'm in the all around holistic healing. How do we heal ourselves in our lives? How do we thrive? How do we align ourselves with the truth of who we are? Um, and let's like segue into human design because this is coming into my mind too. I remember it was I was in acting class. I want to say like 15 years ago. I'll have to actually look 'cause I'm really bad with time frames. But there was a
Yeah.
girl, Jennifer, in my class, super sweet. We were taking a walk one day and she's like, human design, meh, 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 meh. And I'm like, what is this thing she's talking about? I didn't understand it. It confused me.
Were
Um,
you Reiki attuned yet?
no, this was like
Okay.
just acting before I got into any of the spiritual stuff. So I don't think I
Mhm.
got it. I don't think I was ready to receive it. I didn't understand it. Fast
Yeah.
forward, I think, it was sprinkled in my life in many ways, but I think my reintroduction was you because you've been so inspired by it. And anytime I needed an expert, I would call Kaila, we would do a session. And you guys know those times when I don't know, like I don't know if depressed is too extreme, but a little lost, a little out of touch, a little depressed, a little um uh unmotivated. Every single
Yeah.
time I would have a call with Kaila to share with me, and I want you to also go into like for beginners, what the heck is human design, right? But
Yeah.
I would feel alive again. Joy would
Mm.
return, passion would return, pleasure would return, the zest for life would return, and aliveness would return. And I'm like, Jennifer from 15 years ago, I'm sorry.
Where is Jen at? That's what I want to know.
I am sorry. I didn't understand because I just think it is the coolest thing. I'm very passionate about it now. I'm a 1-3, which we'll go into more, but I experiment. And so I'm here as your fellow traveler. And I'll come in and just say, hey guys, I've tried all this stuff out with human design. And yeah, there really is something amazing to this that has consistently over and over and over and over again put me back on path.
Hmm. Yeah, it's so crazy because when I was 29, I moved to Los Angeles, and I'm 6'2", which just a small detail that we're talking about our profiles when we say 1-3 and 6'2", but just for the purpose of talking with Jamie, it was before I was 30, so I was actually a 3'2" when we met.
Mm,
I hadn't made that 6 transition yet. So still very much the 3 line is trial, error, trial, error, trial, error. In like such a serving way, not a limiting way.
mm,
But I moved to LA and it was a very instinctual. Anytime I moved to California, I like make the decision and 3 weeks later I have a job. It's crazy. But I thought I was going to have my dream job. All of my chronic panic and anxiety was going to go away. I'm starting fresh. And that was not the case. Like the first 3 months of that PR job, I would like cry to my mom and just like intense anxiety. And that's when I found Jamie, because I'd always wanted to explore Reiki. And so I took her level 1 and 2 in person Reiki attunements, August of 2019. And I took it to heal myself. I really took it to heal myself, but that was the first time I like felt energy, and I was like, whoa. Like, first of all, this girl's energy feels so good. She's like a walking antidepressant pill for me.
Oh, we're that for each other.
Oh my goodness. But a month later then, Jamie, that's when I discovered human design, a month after meeting you. And the next day up and quit my job because I felt so seen. And then within 24 hours, I had a random text from a friend being like, do you know anyone that does freelance? And I was like, oh wow. Like, you can really like make decisions that other people don't agree with, but you feel are right for you, and things will work out.
That's it, man. That's that clip that we edit if we were going to edit this and put at the beginning because it was so good.
Yeah. I had to like get into it.
Woo! Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I love that. And I love how our paths connected and how we've been of service to each other. Um,
Yes.
could you, for people like me who, I've been in this like deeper, I guess, for the past 3 years, I'd say, maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah.
What is human design? Like, how do you describe it? And maybe it would be to a different subset of people, but like, what is it to you?
Yeah. It's a system, it's a tool. It's not my savior.
Yeah.
I've really come to like differentiate, but it's a system, a tool that helps one develop their inner authority,
Mm,
and it provides a roadmap to getting to where you're meant to be in the most feel good way. Now, when I peel that back and I kind of take it a little bit more specifically, it's an inner authority system that is highly individualized for each human, and it combines astrology, the chakra system, ancient geometry, I Ching, like all of these different modalities into one. And the creator Uruhu channeled it in the 80s. It's just like a wild story. And it's here to show an individual how they are meant to show up, share their gifts, interact, attract, rejuvenate, understand other people from a wise perspective, the strengths that they have within themselves. For me, it's like a tool to feel good and to come back to home.
God, you say it's so articulate how you share it. And even helping
Really?
me. Yes. Yeah. Cause people ask me, I go, I don't know how to explain this. But I'm just going to send them this video. Do you know what energy type Ra is?
So it's so crazy because he was a manifester.
A
But we
manifester. That
have,
makes sense.
yep, he's a splenic manifester. But him and I had the exact same sun gate and the exact same incarnation cross.
That's a trip.
So the gate of shock and the soul's purpose to incite a shock wave of change in others.
Wow.
Even a manifester expressing that energy versus a projector expressing that energy. He initiated the shock. He initiated the change in other people's lives, where mine's a little bit more passive, to where it's like an invited shock sometimes, or an invited, like, I'm ready to change, I'm going to invite you, versus like, you're doing shit wrong. Like, that's probably more his energy.
The unsolicited shock.
Yes. Yes. So he's a manifester in the most attract or repelling way, you know?
Wow. That makes sense because manifestors, it's like between them and God, so to say, and they're just downloading, creating. Like I always feel like I'm always curious what people are. And I'm like, these people that are creating something that's never existed before, the leaders, these
Yep.
people that are like, yeah, creating the manual for the thing that never existed, they're usually the manifestor, eh?
Yeah, yeah, like, they're the cause and everything else is the effect.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. And
Um,
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, learning that my dad's manifestor made so much sense because he somehow his world led into him. He's a musician, a percussionist, a music teacher, but all of a sudden he's obsessed with taiko
Mm,
percussion. It's
hmm.
Japanese taiko drumming, you know, with the big sticks.
Yeah.
And he started his own group in Midwest, small town Minnesota, just literally started a taiko group and then brought his drums with him to San Diego. And now he's like one of the top taiko groups in the country.
Wow. See, exactly what you're saying. It's like it's permission giving and it helps you
Mhm.
for me too. It's like for your dad, it helps you make sense of yourself. This is why I am the way that I am. And in such a trauma-filled, innocently society, right? We're all awakening. We're awakening from all this stuff we've been carrying.
Yeah.
And to have that guiding light within that, that anchor of like, oh, this is, and like you said, it's a tool. It's not, doesn't have to be your savior, but it is a guide kind of bringing you back to like, hey, it gives me a sense of myself. I remember I was with this teacher once, and this is very esoteric, but she was talking about the outline of your soul. Like that,
Mhm.
because we are all one, but we do have this unique essence. I believe we have both. And so for me, it's like this gives you that outline of your soul. You can like tangibly grasp yourself as opposed to all the shit everyone has handed down to you. This is who you are. This is how you have to be.
Mhm.
You have to be the good girl. You have to follow your mind and your obligations, and you have to people please, and you can't start a taiko group in Minnesota and San Diego. And you quiet and you go, well, let me look at the outline and the shape of my own unique individual soul,
Mhm.
um, and explore it and experiment with it and try it on for size. That's very 1-3 of me speaking. Um, because I think when you give spaciousness like that, um, you can see that it is supportive and like lets you come to life amidst all
Mhm.
the shit that was piled on. It's like, oh, thank you, human design. I can breathe again.
Yeah, my dad's a 1-3 emotional manifestor, so you and him have a lot, and a quad right, so all of his arrows are facing right. So
We do.
super in the flow, and yeah.
Wow. That's so cool because I'm 1-3 emotional also. We're just different. I'm a generator. I actually haven't even said that out loud. Um, and the biggest thing, and this is one of the questions I wanted to ask today. So this is good. We can segue into this of like, what is one way or many ways or just anything that's standing out to you that like human design has helped you with? That's like we
Mm,
could sit here for hours with that, but
I wrote a
for
list.
oh, good. Look at you. I'm just spur of the moment. That's probably somewhere in my chart. Or
You know what?
The Sagittarius in
I
me.
both. It's
Yeah.
totally both. I think because I know Mercury's in retrograde, and whenever Mercury's in retrograde, I feel um like my split definition. So I'm actually like split in my head centers to my throat, and sometimes it just doesn't flow as easily.
Yeah.
So I almost give my throat chakra a little bit of a boost with having something to reference.
Yes, yes.
Um, but it's okay. So okay. The main thing that I always say that human design does is it allows you to be or do the thing that you were innocently told was wrong or not
Mm,
right, because that oftentimes is one of the things that is like your greatest gift to this world. So I was always told, give it the 24-hour rule.
mm,
Think about it. You're too impulsive, Kaila. Are you sure? You know, and so kind of the innocence of the other person just wanting me to feel safe based off of what feels safe to them,
Mm.
they're just trying to like slow me down a little bit so I don't make
Mm.
a mistake. When in reality, when I give things a 24-hour rule and I don't listen to my instincts, I get really caught up in my head and my conditioning versus just letting my body lead.
That's so cool, and I love the individualistic approach to that because mine's the opposite. So for
Yeah.
me, being emotional and you know, Kayla and I are gonna offer you a way to work deeper with us at the end of this. If you're kind of like, what am I? I know because for me, I was like so fascinated by all of this, but um my emotional authority literally says, child, wait, you're going to get real excited at first. And I do. And once I understood that about myself, I understood the incessant calls to my mother that sounded like I was on top of a roller coaster all the time. Like, woo, this, that, oh my God, it is. Blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I'm unconditionally loved by that woman. So she's like, all right, cool, this idea, that idea. Um, but now I realize like it's not rude. And you even said this to me, which is so cool. Like, sleep on it. Like if you don't hear back from me in a day or 2 days or 3 days, it's because I'm giving myself a minute to settle, to see the clarity that rises. And, you know, there isn't a one size fits all approach in life. And so
Yeah.
knowing you are unique, like for me, it's wait, for you, it's roll with it.
Hmm. Yeah. And releasing people pleasing and
Mm,
having greater compassion. So it's deepened the relationships I've had with friends and family. And I don't know why I keep bringing up my dad so much, but I think he's such a great example
yeah.
of like for Christmas, I think maybe past Kayla would have been like, well, my dad should just know what I want. Doesn't he just know what I want? Like, how don't you know what I need or want? Well, with projectors, oftentimes like invisible expectations are a thing. And for a manifester, if you overinform,
Mm,
then they know exactly what you want. So I'll send my dad an exact link of the Christmas present that I want. And I end up getting like a really sick pair of shoes every year. And it's the
mhm.
most efficient Christmas exchange ever.
Can I send your dad a picture of some sick shoes?
Seriously. And I just let him call me because
Yeah.
that's when he's usually on a surge versus a low period.
Mm.
And I just
Mm.
let him be him. He lives in a tiny home, for gosh sakes. He's the coolest dude ever.
Aw, I met your dad. He is so cool. Yeah, you know, I mean, this is the gift that keeps on giving because like what you're pointing to too is relational dynamics. When you understand other people, like the projectors, I have a lot of projectors in my life. My mother's a projector. A lot of my best
Oh, I
friends are
knew that.
projectors. Yeah. And I
Oh,
get your need to rest. I get your downtime. I get how sensitive you are. And so because I understand that, I'll be the first person. Well, you know, I'm also a teacher of self-love and honor, self-honoring and
mhm,
taking care of your needs and all that. But it does. It's like, oh, I get this person's cloth. I get their makeup. I can offer them some more empathy. You know,
mhm,
and I forget who wrote it, but there was this one Instagram ad about things you could say to an energy type that would be like music to their ears. And
mm, mhm.
for generators, it was come only if you want to, you know,
Yes.
and like come only if it brings you joy to the party, to the
Mhm,
invitation. Because so this is so I'll segue to myself too with this one of like, um, one of the things that's really helped me do is generators are literally all about, well, there's a lot more, but one of the biggest things I see is following your joy, following what lights you up, following what brings you passion, unapologetically so. Um,
mhm,
and I'm in this practice right now where I'm taking lists every day or taking notes every day of like what's coming into my field because we're
mhm.
responders, which means we
Yep.
respond to life. Like manifestors download it from the heavens. We work with the human network.
Mhm,
And I'll write like
mhm,
what's coming in to my field, into my aura. And of those things, and Kayla has helped me with the nuance of this because I have a personal what? What's the word? Personal
Oh, a personal profile.
profile or
So,
perspective. Is
yeah,
that
Oh, personal perspective. Yes.
Perspective,
Okay.
yes. So it's
Okay.
interesting because it's like I have to find this. I can't focus too much on the needs of others, but I'm noticing what's coming in, but also what brings me joy and what lights me up. So, for example, like you talking about the thing with instinct for you and the deconditioning of people saying, Kayla, you got to give it time. And you're like, no, I know right away. Same thing for us. I think it sounds probably to most people sounds crazy to say, you can pay your bills with joy, follow your joy, and
Yeah.
and I have been saying for years, and now I understand why I've been saying it because it's in my DNA, is joy equals money in the bank. And I will
Yeah.
take that to my grave because for a generator, when you are lit up and you are in your passion, people come to you. They want to work with you. They want what you're selling. And so
Yeah.
your job, and this has been my job, and it takes time and spaciousness, regardless of if you're a 1-3 or not. It takes time for this stuff to integrate.
Mm.
Um, has been me day by day by day, really listening to my body and going, I know intellectually this makes zero fucking sense that I wouldn't want to go to this thing or do this thing. But if I don't want to, if it's not sparking some sort of likeness or joy in me, I've got to honor myself and say no. And so saying no makes space for the yes. And even just like if I was in that exploration, like if you found out today, you join Kayla and I, and you're like, oh my God, I'm a generator. I'm going to practice saying no to my no's and yeses to my yeses. Like what that your life is going to open up drastically. My physical body starts to heal. There's more joy. I'm
Yeah.
revitalized and not burnt out anymore.
Yeah.
Because I know joy is my guiding light.
Yeah. Something that can sometimes land with generators of like, what do you mean I have to say no? Like
Mhm.
sometimes like there's like a fear or lack energy that comes with like practicing no. So I sometimes I like to approach it of just because you can doesn't mean you should when it comes to generators and manifesting generators, because you could be taking away the opportunity of someone else to shine,
That's it.
and when it's selfless to say no to the things that don't light you up, because sure, you could be the accountant, the social, the whatever, all these hats at work or in life, or the friend that is the happy outgoing friend at every single gathering, but maybe you just didn't show up that day and
Mm.
someone else got to connect and kind of shine in their light and be the outgoing one at that party, or whatnot. Someone gets hired and is able to be seen as um, a, a really valuable projector energy at the business or something like that.
I love that perspective. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
There was one thing that just sparked from what you were just saying with generators. Oh, yes. And tell me how this is for projectors and the other types too, but giving yourself permission for what sparks your joy to change. One of my generator teachers, this was hard for me. And as a human, it's like I used to be I mean, and well, years ago, it was just Reiki for me, right? Like Reiki students and Reiki classes and Reiki trainings, and everybody knew me for Reiki. And I did it for years and years and years and years. And I made so much money and I was so abundant and I was so fulfilled. And then it started, I was like, I may still give myself Reiki all the time. But it was like, it wasn't the same amount of lit upness I had. And it was confusing
Mhm.
to me. And I remember my teacher
Mhm.
saying that, like can you give yourself permission for it to change and a new thing will come in, and you can't time it because sometimes it's like building itself, and for generators it's like we're listening to the human network and we're going, what lights us up and what is this thing. And so when
Mhm.
I heard other generators having that experience, it was like, it's not because you suck as a Reiki master that your time is done. It's because the human network needs a different part of your gift. And if they still
Yeah.
wanted me as a Reiki master, I'd still be excited about that. But it's some other Reiki master's time to shine. And Jamie is now really excited about human design and certain work with animals and certain work with self love. And so yeah, if you're experiencing that, could you give yourself permission to know it's not personal? Um, if things are shifting and changing, and you're also in that in between phase where you're like, what am I doing with my life? Like, very normal part of the process, which is why human design is so important, in my opinion, because if you're in that in between phase, it gives you a nice little place to rest of like, hey, it's okay. Let's like kind of look in this direction.
Yeah. The only thing constant in life is change.
Yeah.
And that's where the not self theme or the signature theme, defining what does that mean for me and really feeling that what is satisfied feel in my body.
Mm,
And I'm going to, if I don't feel satisfied doing this anymore as a generator or manifesting generator, um, I'm open to responding to new things that could make me satisfied. And for me, it's success as a projector. Like, what does success mean to me? And I've learned it's not just money. I thought success equaled money, but I also learned that I've always desired a life with more sleep. I was the only
mm,
non-energy type in my family. So like success means if I, building a work life where if I need to be very slow on a day and kind of check out a little bit, there's the flexibility to do so. Or I have some support that I can really lean on or delegate. I can take an afternoon nap. I'm, you know, really and maybe the seasons of what success means changes. There are seasons where I, even as a projector, have way more energy than I do other seasons. So again, it's like learning to be your own energy reader of
mm.
how you feel and your relationship to um, how you're meant to feel in this life.
I love that. And that comes with time and exploration and practice and community, which is a perfect segue. I know there's other things we want to talk about, but Kayla and I are going to get together for another one of these conversations to share with you guys. So we
Yeah.
can leave that for then. But you know, having a safe space, having a community to learn more about yourself, and then a space to implement, integrate, practice. We joined forces to create this for you guys because we are both really passionate, excited about supporting you in this way. So we created the Art of Being You. It's an 8-week exploration into human design to return to your authentic self and, whoops, have abundance with ease.
You know, I looked up the definition of art because that was really sticking out to me. Because obviously, I love art. You love art. We did art together in Ojai.
We did
But
art.
like, why did we choose? Why did we choose the word art?
Mm,
Like that just really stuck out to me. And it's like the best definition of art I wrote down. It's like something that is created with imagination and skill, and that is beautiful or that expresses important ideas or feelings. So it's an act of expressing feelings, thoughts, and observations. And there is an understanding that is reached with the material as a result of handling it. So, like, when I think of art, there's only one original piece, and then you can do copies of prints.
mm,
But art, like, by expressing yourself and allowing yourself to be as individual as possible
mm,
and not allowing yourself to be a copy of another original, you are walking breathing art. So what
mm.
does your artwork look like? I
This.
just thought that, like, yeah.
I love that. That's beautiful. And yes, exactly. And I think it's hard for us if we had a, which is what I've been unraveling from codependent upbringing or just, abandoning yourself to have other. You can't possibly imagine how beautiful you are as an art piece in all of your humanity. And so, we are a walking, living breath of um healing, of art, unique individual self-expression. So I love that.
Yeah. I'm excited because this live series, we're going to be offering audio recordings
Mm,
of each of the sections and the sessions in your human design. So your energy type, your not self theme, your signature theme. So all of the topics that we're covering, you will get audio recordings prior because it takes a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm over 5 years in, and just in the last couple of years, I've really felt it in my body.
Mm.
And I think if I had a program like this, I could have felt it in my body a lot sooner versus just reading and reading and consuming. It really is you have to put it into practice to understand it in yourself for it to like click in.
Yes, and a group like this too, because I'm in similar groups in my own level of exploration, it keeps you accountable. You know, there's other
Yeah.
people like you. We are going to be doing, you get the pre-recorded video, you learn, and then in class you have opportunity to ask us questions. And we're going to be doing some integration practices because I'm also very much about embodiment and body-based healing. So we bring it down and dance it through the body or write it through the body or move it through the body, and retrain our nervous system to feel safe being our authentic true self. So yeah, if you guys want to learn more about it, we have an entire page that should answer any questions that you have. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out. I will link that below. We start in a little over a month. We would love to have you on this journey. 8 weeks, live, virtual, the art of being you, human designed experiment to connect to your true light. And what would you say? What would you call it, girl?
Oh gosh, courage. Because
Mm.
courage is taking an action where there's no proof of success. And that to me is all of human design,
Yeah.
is being courageous. Like I've never seen someone be successful or satisfied doing this. People tell me it's not possible, but I feel it in my bones and body that it's almost like secret desires. Like, how do you secretly desire to live your life?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you desire it, you're meant to have it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm remembering now we talked about Kayla and I speak to the hearts of other badass, courageous, way shower, innovative, creative souls, professionals. Um, because we are here as leaders. It's like, you're different, you're sensitive, and you're on to something, and you need to find others who unlock that path, and you can be that leader of a new way too. And this is definitely one way in with two experts and healers who would love to support you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna have a blast.
Yes, Angel. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Of course.
Kayla, also, how can people, if they're interested, how can people reach out to you more about your work as well?
Yeah, on Instagram, it's K, the letter M as in mom, and O dot house, HAUS. Or my website is www.camoworld.org. So those are the two spots that I'm most reachable.
Awesome. So I will link myself and Kayla below, and then I will link our course as well. And we do hope to have you guys. All right. Sending you guys lots of love. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Come shine with me, align with me, authentically true.